Okay, here we are, like I said, we're about to start. Please, it's very important if all of us turn our phone down, at least put it in silent. That is very, very important. And as soon as we start, this door here will be accessible. If you want to go to toilet, at the back, and go through the back door, and then if you need help, people are there to assist you. There's toilet down the stairs there, and there is one over there if you want to come over here. But this door won't be accessible as soon as we start. And then in case of emergency, which we don't pray for, please don't panic. We will exit orderly. There's no problem. So we will about to start right now. And again, for those who want to use their internet or use their phone, the password for Wi-Fi here is guest. Just in case, but please, 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 put your phone in silent, or it's up to you if you want to turn it off. Okay. The kids, please, kids should be ready because they're gonna come in again, and then welcome our guests from far and wide. They did wonderful yesterday. It was amazing. So it will be good to see them again today. So please let the kids get ready. And as soon as Prof is ready here now, we can start.
But mainly I want to focus on the face. I need to for flower wrap. Onye nọdụ na
Have we all got access to the national team? We're going to massive.
Okay. Sorry once again for a little bit delay. Right, we're about to start. First, we have to pray, thank Almighty God for keeping us alive, for sustaining us, regardless of all the pressure, intimidation, killing of our people. We are still here and we will be here forever. So let's start by calling our sister to.
Glorify your name for making it possible for us to be here today. Daddy, we say, may your name be highly exalted in the mighty name of Jesus. Chukwukabiama's name. Father, Lord, I say that whatever we are going to learn today, that we pray that you will it will sink in our minds, and we know what is happening in Biafra land, and we know how to work towards it in the mighty name of Chukwukabiama's name. And we pray that people that you are going to use to educate us today, we pray that you should direct them and let them teach us well so that we will understand. And at the end, your name will be glorified. In Chukwukabiama's name we pray.
Thank you very much, sister, for that wonderful prayer. Everyone can sit down, please. And yeah, the next is national anthem, please. It's very important. It's still on the board. So I'm quite pleased to ask everyone to stand up again. Sorry, and then sing this national anthem on a count of 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. parents, for those who died, for us to be here today. From all our kids from far away. Thank you.
Biafra come from the Lord. Biafra come from the Lord. All the glory be to God. Biafra come from the Lord. Biafra come from the Lord. Biafra come from the Lord. All the glory be to God. Biafra come from the Lord. Aloma yo umu Biafra. Biafra come from the Lord. Aloma na yo umu Biafra. Biafra come from the Lord. Aloma papa umu Biafra. Biafra come from the Lord. Aloma daddy umu Biafra. Biafra come from the Lord. Nanendi kwele kwe gala. Nanendi kwele kwe gala Biafra. Nanendi kwele kwe gala. Nanendi kwele kwe gala Biafra. Aloma yo umu Biafra. Biafra come from the Lord. Biafra, Biafra come from the Lord. Alama Daddy Umu Biafra, Biafra comes from the Lord. Igbo, Biafra Sina Chukwu Webia, Biafra Sina Chukwu Webia, Nyenu Chineke Ekene, Biafra Sina Chukwu Webia, Biafra Sina Chukwu Webia, Biafra Sina Chukwu Webia, Nyenu Chineke Ekene, Biafra Sina Chukwu Webia, Aloma Nyo Umu Biafra, Biafra Sina Chukwu Webia, Aloma Nanyo Umu Biafra, Biafra Sina Chukwu Webia, Aloma Papa Umu Biafra, Biafra Sina Chukwu Webia, Aloma Bali Umu Biafra, Biafra Sina Chukwu Webia, Nanendi Kwere Kwegala, Nanendi Kwere Kwegala Biafra, Nanendi Kwere Kwegala, Nanendi Kwere Kwegala Biafra, Aloma Nyo Umu Biafra, Biafra Sina Chukwu Webia, Aloma Nanyo Umu Biafra, Biafra Sina Chukwu Webia, Aloma Papa Umu Biafra, Biafra Sina Chukwu Webia, Aloma Daddy Umu Biafra, Biafra Sina Chukwu Webia. Good afternoon, Biafrans and friends of Biafrans. My name is Adobe Chairman Kikonagu. I am from Oka Biafra land. Yes, Biafra comes from the Lord. Mark 16:16 said, whoever believes and is baptized will be saved. Whoever does not believe will be condemned. Biafra is God's kingdom on earth. Are you still doubting it? Biafra is coming soon, but only those who believe will enter into it. Please believe in Biafra now and be saved. We say no to Biafra genocide. Freedom, freedom is our goal. The oil that is coming out of Biafra land, the Hausa, Fulani, Yoruba, and Britain are using it to enrich themselves and left Biafras with nothing. We are like slaves in our father's land. We say no to Biafra genocide. Freedom, freedom is our goal. Not only that they left us with nothing, they are also killing us because of what we have. We say no to Biafra genocide. Freedom, freedom is our goal. Since 1966 to date, Britain, Hausa, Fulani, and Yoruba are still killing us to maintain their selfish interests. They have killed us in mass in different places of like Kano, Kaduna, Katsina, Kwara, Akwa Ibom, Onitsha, Mpo, Aba, Iguacha, Ebonyi, Enugu, and Alfa Ukwu. We say no. Freedom, freedom is our goal. Our garments are soaked with tears and blood. We are calling up Chukwuka, the creator of the universe, God of our forefathers, Moses, Elijah, Isaac, and Jacob, to please rise up in anger and fight our tears and wipe our battles. We say no to Biafra genocide. Freedom, freedom is our goal. Welcome, you're welcome. Come. Biafra come from the Lord. Biafra come from the Lord. All the glory be to God. Biafra come from the Lord. Biafra come from the Lord. Biafra come from the Lord. All the glory be to God. Biafra comes from the Lord. Aramania Biafra. Biafra comes from the Lord. Aramania Biafra. Biafra comes from the Lord. Arama Papa Biafra. Biafra comes from the Lord. Arama Daddy Biafra. Biafra comes from the Lord.
And in the way gala Biafra. And in the way gala. And in the way gala Biafra. Allow my dear Biafra. Biafra comes from the Lord. Allow my dear Biafra. Biafra comes from the Lord. Allow my Papa Biafra. Biafra comes from the Lord. Allow my daddy Biafra. Biafra comes from the Lord. And in the way gala. And in the way gala Biafra. And in the way gala. And in the way gala Biafra. Allow my dear Biafra. Biafra comes from the Lord.
Thank you very much. That's amazing. Please, once again, let us give hands of applause to the little set. They are amazing. Okay, we're gonna go down to main business. Please, we'll call our professor, who is our first speaker today, Professor Okado. Please, if you come and take the microphone and then address us. Thank you very much. Again, before Prof start talking to us, please, it's very, very important. We have some lovely books out there from Professor Effiong. If you don't have this book in your archive, we are missing a lot. There's also another one from Professor Okado. These are very, very important, that we have these things in order not to be deceived. For science information is always important. So it's very important. As soon as we go on break, people should quickly go and grab it because we saw most of them yesterday. So the remaining one can grab today when we are on break. So very important. And there's other souvenirs there that we can lay our hands on. Okay. All right. Let's hand over mic to Professor Okado. Thank you. Right, Prof, please, just a minute, yeah. Sorry, skip my mind. We have some lovely, lovely guests here. I apologize. I need to introduce them. We have our sister here, Nenayanya, who come all the way from Germany. All of us know her.
IPOB. One family. I won't speak loud because I'm sure we have IPOB. One family. IPOB. One family. One family. IPOB. Thank you once again today for inviting me into this occasion. My name once again is Nenayanya. I'm from Ihechiowa, Umuahia province, in Biafra land, and I reside in Germany. It's nice to meet all of you here because some of you see on Facebook or WhatsApp, but I really don't know the way you look. But I'm happy that seeing most of you today. And I thank Chukwu Okiabiama for this day. Yesterday was very good. The best genocide exhibition that I've attended. Really the best, because we have, I mean, if I'll put it, from our professors from America, and also want to use this opportunity to thank Professor Effiong Jr. Thank you very much for honoring this invitation. I must say, he looks like his father. Thank you once again. And I also want to use this opportunity to thank our women for their association. I thank all of you for your hospitality. And today we watch, I know that more lectures will come. Yesterday I really learned a lot, and I'm sure today again we are going to have more. For now, thank you once again, and thank you for inviting me to this occasion. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Nena, for coming all the way from Germany. It's not easy. Thank you very much to be here with us. Like we say, we are one family. We will do what we have to do just to make sure we propagate this Biafra restoration cause until we restore our land and then go back home. Right, before I move on, I will also introduce our senior brother from United States, Professor Effiong, Lepe Effiong Jr., sorry. Thank you, sir. Just say hello for those who didn't get to see you yesterday. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Like I said yesterday, this is a narrative that I'm passionate about, and I'm talking about the Civil War, pre-Civil War events, Civil War and post-war events, many of which have been a lot of efforts to suppress this narrative, and to keep us silent, and to act as if our lives don't mean anything and we can just wish them away. So I like the fact that moving forward, we begin to let all those who don't like us know that they are not that relevant to us. And so they may hate us, they may not like us, but they can't stop us. We're going to do what we want, as long as what we're doing is productive and creative, and as long as what we're doing is not hatred to anybody else. That's what we're here for. We're here to remember those who were brutally murdered and whose lives were destroyed. And we're here to honor them so that their lives are not wasted in vain. Those lives have been sacrificed, and those who think that those lives were just wasted and destroyed so that they could get what they want, what they don't understand is that those lives were wasted as a means through which we would be energized and invigorated, and through which we'll use the memories of those lives to move forward. We'll stand strong. You can try, but you couldn't do it in the past, and you can't do it today. And so again, it's a pleasure, it's an honor to be here, to be part of the process of moving forward and reminding those who don't like us that they're not relevant to us. Thank you.
Sorry for this experience. We didn't experience this yesterday for some reason. I don't know why it's going on this way. So we continue without wasting much of our time. I'll also introduce you to
Apparently they're not coming from the mics.
Hello, testing, testing.
Okay, like I said, sorry for this hiccup. We must continue. We are Biafran, regardless. Okay, like I was saying earlier on, I want to introduce you to also one of our senior brother from US, Kansas, US, in the name of Professor Ewa Oneke. Thank you very much and welcome.
Testing, testing, testing. It's from the actual arena. We have no control over it. So in between. So
And that one, I should say from the back zone, that I'm the last WAF member. I used to be a child soldier with the Biafra Organization of Freedom Fighters. And we sang in Biafra. Ihe niile zuru oke n'ala Biafra. Akụ na ụba zuru oke n'ala Biafra. Ihe niile zuru oke n'ala Biafra. Naanị sabo, sabo, sabo egwuregwu. Naanị sabo, sabo, sabo. Pụọ na ya Ojukwu, Ojukwu, ike bụzi n'anyị. Olowayo Ojukwu, Ojukwu, dike bụzi n'anyị. Aga m agawa ịyọ ya mgbaghara. Ike agwụla mụ na Igbo, egbuzi n'anyị. Aga m agakwuru Ojukwu, ịyọ ya mgbaghara. Ike agwụla mụ na Igbo, egbuzi n'anyị. Ndewoni. Nwoke a na-akpọ Mazini kwuru sị, one without a nation, one without a country, is like a soldier without banner. And it's like a bastard of money. You will have no protection, you will have no faith. Okay, Daniel.
I make a suggestion? Let's all switch off our phones. It might be a little easier. Okay, that might be the sort, because we didn't have this problem. So let's just turn all our phones off, mine included. And flight mode. Let's just see if that happens. If that helps. Let's switch off all the phones.
Okay, thank you very much. Like I said, we will continue moving forward, regardless of any hiccup. We will continue moving forward. So the next person, who is our lovely guest, a friend of Biafra, is a professor. He's all the way from United States as well, Kinshasa. And the name of Professor Pamela Lois.
Kansas City, Kansas Community College, and how it is helping the children of Biafra by building schools, and how we're starting community colleges in Africa, and one of them is about to be built in Biafra. And so I came to tell all of you about that. And so that's what we talked about yesterday.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's exactly what we are saying. Friends of Biafra are helping in any capacity they can. But, some of us are still sleeping, so let's not dwell into that. Okay, we'll go straight to the point. Prof, are you ready? Okay, hand over the microphone to Professor Kado, who will address us now. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all for accepting me to be the next speaker. The topic I have today for the occasion is Biafra genocide, the victim, the perpetrators, bystanders, good among all people, and the case hunt. My name is Professor Dr. Emeka Viokeado. Permit me to start by expressing certain appreciations. First of all, my appreciation goes to Biafran heroes and veterans, IPOB UK, in particular, to your leadership, Black Bearers, the national coordinator and his deputy, and of course, zonal coordinators, and I should also say the Directorate of IPOB. I do extend my appreciations to UK researchers and historians, in particular the exceptional tapes on the works of Susan Crouch and Professor Karen E. Smith of the London School of Economics. I do also appreciate UK media, particularly The Economist, The Guardian, and The Times. And of course, Great Britain's of goodwill, just among our people. Persons like Mother Jane Shrimpton and John Lennon and Yoko Ono. I will not miss to mention NGOs like Oxfam. All my appreciations, and I hope on behalf of the Biafran people goes to all. Maybe further in my discussion, I will explain why. brief profile of myself. Presently, I am the Secretary General of the Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB worldwide. And there, I should say that I'm also speaking under that capacity. I do consider myself to be an academician, an intellectual of my own right, which I have humanly manifested over the understated endeavors of life. Before I understood the core reason why I should engage in the restoration of my nation, I've been a human rights activist. I was one of those who participated in the anti-apartheid, that's South African anti-apartheid activism. I worked with ANC Italy representative in the year of Mandela's liberation from prison. That's 1990. The task of informing please. Another thing is that pro-Eritrea independence activists and have been also pro-Eritrean independent activists and supporter during the period of the de facto recognition of Eritrea. Till the time they had the jure recognition on 24th May 1992. In that I'm a friend of the Republic of Eritrea. Many other professional experiences that I have acquired. I've been African Union technical expert on political affairs and African diaspora. I've served as Mayor of Front Special Advisor on Immigration, an author, and other things. Let me know what's time since please help me to go through them. But what is important that I should say is that, unfortunately, the Biafran genocide has been the most denied and hidden, even under the constant threat by the Nigerian government and cohorts. Fortunately for us, substantial facts and evidence of declassified documents and files are coming up from archives on what transpired much are still expected, and we need to do our homework correctly. As presentation to this my discussion, I should say that it is important to reaffirm that UK Biafra Genocide Exhibition, in complement to others, those held at Munich, Langenfeld, Ontario, Washington, and Vienna, are all focused on this tragedy meted against the people of Biafra and her beloved nationhood, Biafra. They all have been showcasing real traceable times, marks, and images of pertinent historical evidence. UK Biafran genocide event this time has furthered the emphasis on the educational awareness. Biafra Genocide Exhibition marks the pursuit of anyone complicit with the crime of genocide against the people of Biafra. I'm very sure that this pursuit and various others will be continued by Biafran generations. conspirators and their generations must not rest, shall be answerable to this act of inhumanity. This landmark legal defense poses a great challenge to a restored Republic of Biafra. Though that would not restitute human dignity treaded upon, but shall serve as symbol of justice. We deserve freedom and justice, of which we must march on with great determination. Any of the places, Munich, Langenfeld, Ontario, Washington, in my discussion, I've never failed to leave a landmark. For example, in that of Washington, to our noble Biafran guest, I recall their attention on the most prominent, or I may say one of the most prominent voices in the US government, Senator Eugene J. McCarthy, who proposed for US recognition of Biafra speech to the Congress. Sorry, please, just a minute. It's a traceable document. But what is important there is that all that we have been saying, shouting, even those that we don't know, is in this document. And we can't do anything more than what has been in this document. So I was prompting the IPOB USA that you must have to lay hands on this document. Lay hands on this document, find another source, because I have been in politics. If you are an honorable member, you normally leave a legacy. If you don't leave it in person, you leave it to the constituency that you serve. That you must trace back which constituency that this senator served and know a way to bring back this current issue, now that even IPOB is actively involved in the matter. Without going further, it's just a brief reference. It was a landmark that was left in Washington. We're here today in London. Senator Eugene J. McCarthy concluded by saying we should accept Biafra's right to separate national existence and look to possible early recognition of Biafra by the United States and other nations. This is a congressional act, not a private act. So back to our turn. I will start on that of the victim. Victim of Biafra genocide, full of Biafra. In a simple word, we are the victim. It's important for us to know that genocide against the territory and the people of Biafra has been cajoled, turned away, negated, conspired, and lied against. It has been deceit all the way around. Even when we sincerely accepted to sit on a table to negotiate the best way forward, it ended with a conspired breach and a grim of neo-colonialists of Gowa military junta, Hausa Fulani, and Yoruba that served as steward to their cohort. Now we move to our exhibition, which normally is a very difficult word for me to use. I think in Langenfeld, I tried my best to explain why we adopted the word exhibition. Because it's difficult to exhibit real life tragedy. But we adopted that word exhibition out of provocation. Since evils meted against us are being hidden, we decided that we have to exhibit it. That was how we came to use that word, exhibition. The first image I wish to exhibit today is the one that you may be seeing on the screen. I combined, it's a combination of Israeli children and that of Biafra. That of Israeli should be on the left side of the screen there, if I'm not mistaken. And that of Biafra. That of Israelis took place or not extended to the period of 1945. And that of Biafra extended beyond the period of 1968. As we can see, there are all three images of genocidal crimes against particular people, in this case Biafra and Israeli children. See how we were denuded, treated with Pashoka epidemic. The most interesting lesson we can learn from that, being an educational awareness day, is that it's an image that symbolizes how and when the world realized that they failed us. Since all the years we were crying, they didn't understand that. Till this image started circulating all over the world. That was when they understood. And to us, that was when they realized that we exist. But for us, it's when they realized that they failed us. Often, my fellow comrades, even during our outings, with our Israeli flags and so on, even curious tourists and all the rest, they ask, but why involving Israel in your struggle? Why holding Israeli flag? I don't mind wasting telling them that they have faced similar destiny with us. That's what. And even not IPOB is making this reference. Even as far back as more than 50 years ago, reference analogies were being made with the inhumanity that Biafrans underwent with that of the Holocaust of Israelis. If one is interested, you might see a write-up of Lasse Hart, in which the title is A, as in Auschwitz. Auschwitz is a famous city. It's called Citadel of Death, where the Nazis just marked out for Israelis to die during the Nazi era. And then, as you can see in this gentleman's write-up, he said B as in Biafra. So there has been this constant analogy. And he said the Nigerian Civil War, which is not civil as our UK national, already made mention yesterday. Visual narratives of genocide and the fragmented universalization of the war. This work can be found in Heide Frembrenberg and David Rodongen, Humanitarian Photography, a History. It's a Cambridge publication. So back to the real life image, as we have seen before. We can see that it's hard to think of contemporary, inflicted real-life human image that gave so much displeasure and led to protests of many people around the globe when Biafra and Israeli children images were exhibited. Photo and video cameras, speaking and evasive images as to capture undisputable evidences as identified in deliberately secluded military zones of territories for inhuman acts 1,000 miles off. These images, as we have seen, overshadows everything. It's done by fellow human beings like us. That notwithstanding, they are even being instrumentalized and even lied against. In line with our Israeli foes, after many decades, the restoration of Biafra must bring up landmark case for justice with the continual emergence of evidences and testimonies. This brings up the question of the Biafran child. What have you become? Have you grown up to restore your nation, be of service to your people and humanity, to exhibit your hidden history, and to honor your heroes and heroines? I hope before the conclusion of my speech, I may also, have some answer to these questions. Now let's move to the perpetrators. The perpetrators, they have name. It's Nigeria and Gohos. Matthew T. Mbo wrote, Your Excellency, it is clear from the foregoing that the British government, by participating directly with the Nigerian military clique in their genocidal war against Biafra, has abandoned all pretense of neutrality and is guilty not only of interference in the conflict between Nigeria and Biafra, but of supporting genocide, which is an offense under international law. Why did I make reference to this quote? was appalling that this palpable genocide is being openly financed and directed by major non-African powers whose interest in the event is the economic and political advantage of their countries. His statement is traceable in his address to the OAU in Addis Ababa on the 5th of August. You can still even trace it here in UK at the School of Oriental and African Studies. This pinpointing of perpetrators or accusations were repeated elsewhere. The then Senegalese and Tanzanian presidents, Leopold Senghor and Julius Nyerere, also labeled Nigerian policy against the people of Biafra as genocide. The Times of London, on 10th of April 1968, reported their statements in regards to that. In a caption, pressure on Lagos to accept ceasefire. Even the International Committee for the Study of the Crimes of Genocide determined that genocide was occurring in Biafra. There's a remark that I just want to make, being an education awareness day for Biafra. The most important thing we have to bear in mind is that we are rewriting our history. We are not making revision of our history, but we are rewriting our history because most of histories on us are being written by our enemies. So most of the time, the concept of their presentation, the West, we must be very careful. Being Biafran Educational Awareness Day, it's important that we bear this in mind. As you can see, the last reference that I made, the International Committee for the Study of the Crimes of Genocide, an author went on saying a Paris-based unofficial organization of lawyers from several countries. It's not true. It's a Paris-based official organization of lawyers from several countries. Because it was the only investigation on Biafran genocide that had a scientific and a legal foundation. Others were forged. But you see, this writer is not a Biafran. What did he say? He said a Paris-based unofficial, a way to discredit the work they have done. So it's important. I'm laying emphasis on this because we're on a Biafra Education Awareness Day, and that's what it is. So, for more on that, why was the International Committee on the Investigation of Crimes of Genocide in Biafra? It was instituted due to a complaint to the Directorate of the International Committee for the Study of the Crimes of Genocide on the matter of the crime of genocide being committed against the people of Biafra by the authorities of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I think Ekwe Committee on Biafran Genocide elaborated more on this too. Can we move to the next term in our discussion? Those that are labeled as bystanders. And the bystanders, they have a name. Bystanders in the Biafran genocide, one of them, United Nations, British Commonwealth countries, African Union, then Organization of African Union, and the so-called non-aligned nations. They were bystanders. Until date, we don't know if we are to classify them as perpetrators of bystanders. But still, as I said yesterday in one of the important questions that one of our brothers raised, we don't want to rush judgment because we are still undergoing the visibility studies of what transpired. It was a sorrowful day. We speaking is Akbar. Akbar is the American Committee to Keep Biafra Alive. It says it was a sorrowful day, but on 10th December 1969, on his 21st birthday, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights was pronounced dead by the American Committee to Keep Biafra Alive. Acronym Akbar. Outside of the UN headquarters, Paul Connett, who was the president of the committee, decried the World Organization. Historians have demonstrated that in 1948, the Genocide Convention and the UN Declaration of Human Rights were created by different people for different purposes. But for some scholars have argued that the struggle to prevent genocide and feed Biafrans during the Nigerian War, specifically, the willingness was on the Western activists, who disregarded Nigerians' claim to sovereignty. And that was a significant moment in human rights history. So as you can see, it's not IPOB that is pointing an accusing finger to the United Nations in this case. This is the American Committee to Keep Biafra Alive. A very strong, formidable group that saved life in Biafra. Under the watch of the bystanders, Nigeria and cohorts forged an international observers team mission that crooked and wrongfully denied genocide against the peace-loving people of Biafra. Douglas Anthony, he is a documentarist, captures this position in the caption of his document. He said, or he noted, what are they observing? The accomplishments and missed opportunities of observer missions in the Nigerian Civil War. This report was made in the Journal of African Military History. You can get it online. In late August 1968, just after it launched a final offensive to defeat Biafra, whom they were calling rebels, according to the Vandals. The Federal Ministry Government of Nigeria announced it will allow the International Observer Team into the country to show that it was not pushing a campaign of genocide against Igbos in Biafra. You see what I'm talking? This is a reference statement. If I'm to write this, it's important. We are on our education day because this has been the problem for Biafran academicians within the academic field because we have to rewrite a lot of things. When someone is presenting you, it's not the way you present yourself. So this is very, very important. So many are asking, or many have said, it is quite curious that the observer team was sent at all, as it is an indication of how much pressure the UK, United Kingdom itself, was under as a result of the claims that genocide was being perpetrated against the people of Biafra. Professor K. Smith further explained why the UK pressed for the federal military government to invite observers to Nigeria. Because everything about the Biafran case was completely contrary. We've never seen such in the history of humanity. How can a perpetrator of genocide invite observers, not a neutral person? So that happened in the Biafran. So, Nigeria government that was perpetrator of genocide invited observers to verify such was going on. These accusations generated concern within the government, despite the fact that the UK had not acceded to the 1948 Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide. What happened? The international community, many international and intellectuals of good faith, started to cry loud that something is going on. People or press is under extinction, unjustly under extinction. So there was protests everywhere. And Britain, as we have seen there, during this period, refused to sign 1948 Convention on the agreed to enter or go into Biafran territory. And people were asking why. If you're going to investigate whether genocide, why did you refuse visiting the Biafran territory? But they didn't do that. So but that happened in Biafra too, during the Biafran team. So under the watch of the bystanders, Nigerian cohorts forged international observers distinction, which, as I've said, cooked and wrongfully denied genocide against our people. The original observers, we know their names, and we have tried to know little about it. Major General William M. Roy, Lieutenant Colonel Pennington from Canada. These two men were from Canada. Colonel Alphonse Okeves and Michael Diaz from and one civilian from Poland, General Arthur Raab and Karl Arescu from Sweden, T. Alexander and Douglas Ken and W.D. Arbuthnot from the UK. These were the composition of the observers. You can see how partial and meaningless they were. So we've even been able to trace their images. These are, but I assure you, without mincing words, they were all criminals. See their face. They were trained international criminals, spies. Because why I'm saying that even objectively, many researchers, they'll be struggling to know the whereabouts of these men. They They operated with fake names. Their documents of what they did is nowhere to be found. In no archive, even in secret British, I don't know, maybe it's still there. Even in the UK archive, you cannot even be able to trace the work they did. So this is one of the few pictures they were able to display to the press. And according to their findings, they neither saw nor heard of any evidence. See that useless report. We neither saw nor heard of any evidence of genocide in the land. They were delinquents, however. Let us not waste time. But it's good that we can still today see their faces. Because the problem of genocide is a generational problem. Matter of genocide is not a political crime. It passes from generation to generation. So it's not easy. We shall come to this truth. Well, under curiosity, I've been devoting time to know more about these people. Even one of them died of S. Many with unknown even burial ground. A lot of them, they are dead, but very terrible set of human beings. Just have their name and other even curiosity try. So something, even somewhere, even many of them were even identified with the one from Canada. They say he was twice made an attendant to Queen Elizabeth II during visits to Canada. I think that was the only positive maybe comment I had about him after learning he had disease. So however, let's move forward. But they are important. We're putting them under consideration. We are documenting everything about them. What is clear is that these people, by allowing procedural and political considerations to undercut their responsibilities to their funds and the global community, the Observer Project failed to uphold the spirit of the UN Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide, acronym CPPCG. Despite the fact that 5 of the 6 countries, in this case, they are making reference to OAU members that were invested, that represented the observers' nations were significant. And therefore, we're supposed to bound participants, but they didn't adhere to it. Republic of Biafra head of state, C.O. Ojukwu, commented about the crooked and asserted that the observer exercise would hardly achieve anything that can be presented to the world as original, accurate, and impartial, so long as there are so few of them and their movements are restricted to the federal side. He made this statement in a radio broadcast on 4th of October 1968. There was a very wide press coverage on the outcome of this observation. Like the Guardian of UK said, there's alarming evidence that assurances given by General Alexander, the British observer, and other observers that Biafran's fears of genocide are groundless, and not the whole truth. The newspaper cited as evidence televised picture of a Biafran being shot dead by an FMG officer, the shooting of 4 Red Cross workers, errors on crowded Biafran markets, and the reports of a group of Canadian MPs that there was an element of genocide in the war. There was a undercover objective with the British instigation for observer. As had been noted, it had been noted that the observer team, that had the observer team not been dispatched to Nigeria and found no evidence of genocide, then it is possible that when the UK acceded to the convention, it could have been accused by Biafrans of contravening its legal obligations. So this is an important point. It's not late. Biafrans, the present generation, we are still ready and we are preparing for that. And definitely with the restoration of Biafra, we shall not fail to accuse the perpetrators of this inhuman acts to our people. What we are waiting is for our restoration, because it will be best done with the restoration of our nation. It's not a surprise that one of the great British journalists by name Aberrant Wash, in one of his articles, noted that British ministers could be answerable in the court to charges of genocide after the UK acceded to the convention. That's genocide convention. So if we want to know more about what the Genocide Convention is all about, this was with regards to Britain. I've made reference to that. You can have a look at the British Yearbook of International Law, Volume 73, 2003, which attempted to explain why the British government didn't accede to the convention. It states that genocide cannot be considered. No, the British government was seeking that genocide be considered a political crime, and thus was that protecting individuals playing political persecution. That the international community didn't agree to extend such right to genocide. What is clear is that, in short, Nigerian cohorts, in particular Britain, targeted on the people of Biafra for her ultimate gruesome genocide. She betrayed all the trust of the Biafran people, as symbolized in Akane. Onus of proofs from the onset was disregarded or had been disregarded and with time have been condemned. Nigeria and cohorts are guilty of genocidal crimes against humanity, meted against Biafra, until they prove contrary otherwise in any competent forum. This must stand as Republic of Biafra landmarks Lagos State. Thank you. An analogical study is important in this case. I recall an analogical case study. Please listen, it's important. This is Talat Pasha. I'm talking about Armenian genocide. Talat Pasha was the chief instigator of the Armenian genocide. He died at the hands of an assassin in 1921 in Berlin, where he was living in hiding under a false name. His killer, who was one of the survivors, an avenger of the genocide against his people. His name is Solomon Delirian, sought to use his own trial as a platform to condemn the acts of the murderer of his people, a perpetrator who had already been sentenced to death by his people in Ascensia, in his own country by court martial in Constantinople. What this implies is that, remember, when Biafra is restored, we shall institute our own tribunal, and the international community will institute theirs. Whom we condemn, we have condemned that person. The other issue is left to the international community. So I'm narrating a case study similar to that. So what happened? When this Solomon Delirian executed Talat Pasha, who was the instigator of the genocide against the execution he carried enabled Berlin Central Criminal Court for the first time transformed into a tribunal of history, putting the architect of the genocide on trial and acquitting his killer, and all in the same Germany, which had previously been an ally of the Ottoman Empire. What does that mean? Notwithstanding that Germany supported the killer of these Armenian people, the Berlin Central Court, during this time in its Tribunal of History, justified the revenge that Solomon Delirian undertook against the instigator of the genocide against us. So this is an important case study that all of us must also consider. So the matter is not yet over. We shall also have the possibility to have our own tribunal of this when the time comes, when Biafra is restored. It's important to know that after the adoption of the Nuremberg Charter in 1945, crimes against humanity came to be established in international law. The domestic and especially international jurisprudence, which is the domestic is national. When Biafra is restored, we shall have our own domestic jurisprudence, has included numerous cases. Sorry, please. I would have So practically, I was trying to explain what makes a crime to be inhuman, to be termed or regarded as being genocide. That was something I think we don't have. In a brief, what is important is that for any crime to be considered as or considered to be genocide, victims' individual freedom must be denied. They must be deprived of their human dignity. So-called civilized attitude is removing the link between victims and humanity. sentiment of active goodwill or humanness depicting human nature in the form of all these characteristics you can portray in the image of the Biafran and Israeli children that we just saw. So the point is that this exhibition, UK exhibition, is part of our case hunt. We are marking the backgrounds and validating the contextualization. Time for investigators to switch gears with the sooner in view of the imminent restoration of the Republic of Biafra. Unlike private investigators, detectives from the Biafran Police Department or law enforcement agencies shall formally be in charge. It is important to know the notable difference between state police detectives and private investigators. We are investigators. The program we are doing today is part of the investigation. Police detectives hunt for perpetrators anywhere they may be found to their arrest, while private investigators like us, we cannot do that. As exhibition protagonists, our main scope is that of finding out the fact in this case, which we may not possess. There's issue on holding charges in the case hunt. We must, as I've tried earlier, to name who is who, the perpetrators, who are the bystanders. The offenders, many of them, they have names. They are individual offenses and collective ones. Hence, there was conspiracy to commit genocidal crime against Biafran people. Hence, one of the case titles might be Republic of Biafra, Federal Republic of Nigeria, and cohorts. But we shall have different captions after. That's not the point. Then, as we can say, perpetrators must face Biafra justice. There are genocides and murderers that have been conspiratorially protected and must be charged on the murder of millions of Biafran people. Half a century after genocide on Biafra, no one has been arrested, put in custody, nor face trial. That's quite unacceptable to the Biafran people, all people of goodwill. The Republic of Biafra restoration is loading, and all which genocide has been the locomotive. The only certainty now is that Biafran genocide stands as a generational responsibility until the perpetrators are charged with the murders of the millions of innocent Biafran citizens, spearheaded by Nigeria and all those that have to blood the project. No hope is yet lost, as even it will be up to the cost in Biafra to decide on that. The long-delayed call for justice appears to be an important moment in the investigation. Justice, equity, and freedom has been the pivotal stance of the Republic of Biafra. This shall always be extended to all our loved ones, victims of inhumanness. Efforts being made for the perpetrators to face justice are being spearheaded by IPOB, whose useful members are to date being murdered by the present Nigerian government. Of course, this development will is bringing back then exposure of hidden truths and untold stories remain an open grief for the Biafran generation and great responsibility in the pursuit of justice. Yakub Gowon, dead or alive, must be the first person Of course, Republic of Biafra shall be a party. In both, we shall seek for a win. Though Republic of Biafra is a state in questions, our people's sovereignty has been demonstrated to be effectively tight and alive. No surprise then that more than 50 years later, Biafran generation sustained the open place in Biafran genocide. Evidences abound confirm that between 1960 to 1970, Nigerian military junta and cohorts constituted genocidal criminal zone and scene against the people of Biafra that resulted to a genocidal crime. Landmark case must be instituted against them, and cohorts as smoking gun evidences have continued to emerge from various sources. Leading investigations shall involve forensic experts, criminologists, testimonies, and legal experts. But we are undeterred. We are all aware of the setbacks surrounding non-demonstrable or unexhibitable evidences, which can lead to a fruitless defense and the enigma of why one must embark on this matter if most of the perpetrators or the accused are dead. Consequently, this is natural cause. List of the perpetrators shrinks over time, and over time, eyewitness testimonies may also falsify, that we must not display. Very important. Legitimate jury stroke tribunal role shall be to judge. Rules of law must be upheld, no matter our emotional outbursts. Biafrans were and still are open, peace-loving people that embrace neighbors and foreigners as friends and foes. The good among the people, among all people. Well, we have seen that. This, remember, I express appreciation to Jan Shefton. This was during his Save Biafran campaign at Piccadilly Circus. This image was taken December 24, 1969. This was the John Lennon and Yoko Ono. As you can see, they display letter to British entry head of Wesson. The letter explained John Lennon's reasons for returning OBA as order of British Empire made given by the Queen on British support of Nigeria against Biafra. And the famous Osfan's public statement of March 1969. What Britain must now face is that the price for united Nigeria is likely to be millions of Biafra lives. So a lot of people spoke out on our behalf, sorry. So world newspapers, also British newspapers and tabloids, reported that 3,000 children were dying each day, and combining this with various arms shipments being carried by the British government. So a lot of, as I said, the British tabloids, they were also very active, and we thank them for that, because that's why I said it's too early for us to pass state distinction. Maybe with time we might be able to. What we know is that for the meantime, we don't know the role of bystanders and that of perpetrators. Yeah, please bear with me. National, I'm sorry for taking your, sorry please, because to interrupt my dear program. Then, please, I come back to the Biafran child. The question I initially asked, which I said I would say one or two things about. This is our leader. He is an epitome of the Biafran child. And as I said, 24th of April 2013, he had his first press conference. It was the first press conference, public outreach that our leader had, where he explained what he wants to achieve. This date is important. In my discussions, I normally put it forward. This was me. I'm the one here. This was at the peak of my academic struggle. I mean, within the academic fora. At the peak of my struggle within the academic fora. So I'm the one and I'm still here today. Very happy to Biafra is restored. Then come up the question, why the restoration of Biafra after more than 50 years? Because Biafran people, they have been known all over the world to be hungry of liberty, justice, and peace. And many of us don't know why, the symphony of our national anthem adopted that of Finnish citizens. Remember, the symphony is called Finlandia. So what I'm trying to say is because Biafra, like Finland, they have been identified as two countries that have same thirst for freedom. More or less, it's important to know this. The resistance of Finland against the USSR, or Soviet Union, resembles that of the little Biafra that had fought against Nigeria and the potent allied international coalition. That's very important. So this is our map. Most of it is important because we cannot talk about this without territory. Territory is important. Remember, it's one of the elements of the nation. This one is very, very important. As you can see from the caption, it's 1979. It always caused my curiosity because, as you can see, the so-called capitulation occurred January 1970. That as of 1979, 1989, world maps were still positing Biafra in their territory. World map, I mean current. So that I can say the last appearance of Biafra as a nation in modern world atlas of Africa. This one you're seeing here. And it was done by the National Geographic Society of Washington, USA. So what I'm trying to say, this would have even been current now, but I know that the Zugo memos have seen it and grabbed them. True. So territory is important. We must do a order. So we must know that we have to explain it. So what's the current issues of the Biafran child? The current issues and the causes for the restoration. The genocidal violence is still going on. Cancellation of our territory from the world map. Economic and developmental annihilation. Environmental destruction. And the House of Fulani terrorism. Well, we are trying to give understanding to the Hausa, but still I prefer saying House of Fulani. I don't live for that. Not that we are still to give with the Shite and however, they are still House of Fulani. Because they both combine to unleash mayhem against us. So you can see genocide extends to that of environment. If you look to our beloved country now, this is how it looks. It has flames everywhere, both underneath and above. It's almost becoming a destroyed area. So we have to bear in mind, we are talking about now genocide in regards to human life. There's also genocidal, environmental genocidal acts going on now. We have to know that. Then, the reason why we must restore our nation. What's the meaning of continuing being in the Nigerian bloody union? With these continuous senseless killings and acts of inhumanity. We must restore our nation. We must. We are obliged. Our flag is important. Well, as we have made mention, the most important thing is that we all we have endeavors of Biafra citizens, academicians and people from different walks of life, any endeavors. The one that has been remarkable has been that of our leader, who is thunderous was our leader. Extended fast message reached every angle of the earth. And it's here that we are today. So as we can see, this message was received and our people received it, and we are now, giving meaning to our existence. Something is wrong. So, permit me to conclude. The conclusion I have is this. And I am putting it up as a testament I may leave in today's occasion. As I said, anywhere I go for this discussion, I normally do a remarkable something. I may record this somewhere else where I might be invited. And they tried all their best to operate with policy documents. So after 50 years, I don't think that it's appropriate for us to talk about marching or about doing anything without grounding ourselves. And the grounding is this thing I'm talking about. So the testament I am leaving today is that we must start to talk about our Republic of Biafra Charter and Constitution. What's the reason for that? My last statement. I'm sorry, Coordinator National. Please, I'm sorry for that. My last comment on that, then I submit, is the onus, from my own humble point of view, the onus of Biafra restoration struggle must be proven with a charter and constitution, courageous acts that shall symbolize all that are being said, prayed, hard, done, and sacrificed. And here I stop. Thank you very much.
applause for our professor. We have so much from what he's given, and I felt guilty asking him to stop because we can be here all day for one talk. But we're really, really grateful, Prof. Thank you very much. There'll be more opportunity, more time. I know you're all dying to ask him questions, but let's hold it. What I want you all to do is to have what I call a water break. Go to the loo for 10 minutes.